Welcome back to another filler episode where the content is not relevant for the plot, but relevant for character development. We're doing another TBR. I haven't done a structured TBR, a structured seasonal TBR, for quite some time, and I feel so lost because within my mini books that I haven't read yet, I do need some structure to my reading plans. And so we're here today to talk through what I plan to read for the season of autumn. For the season of autumn. But first, before we do that, I want to take a minute to thank our sponsor for this video, Ana Luisa, who have kindly agreed to work with me again. How exciting. Ana Luisa are a sustainable and quality jewelry brand whose mission statement is to provide quality jewelry that does not cost the planet. Ana Luisa is a fantastic brand that I have paid my own money for to purchase their items because I love them so much. They have gold, they have silver, they have diamonds that are lab grown so that everything is completely sustainable. They're also a brand that is water and carbon neutral, and last year they became climate certified. All of their information is on their website. It is completely transparent, so if you want to go check that out, click the link in the description down below. However, I wanted to talk you through the 3 pieces that I have picked out from Ana Luisa's website. So first, we have this adorable little necklace. It's called Victoria, and I think it is just the most adorable little petite but also subtly blingy necklace that I have found. Given how understated it is also a really perfect necklace that you can layer with other necklaces, which I know that I will be doing, but it is also just lovely enough that you could wear it by itself. Next, I picked out this really adorable bracelet. It's called Lucy, and it is gold and has these tiny little blingy flower shapes on it. I don't own many bracelets. This is probably one of the first bracelets that I've owned, and I love it. These flowers are tiny, they sparkle so beautifully in the sunlight, but again, not overstated. Can layer them with any other bracelet or watch or whatever it is that you own. And lastly, I picked out these super badass earrings. These are the Hannah Lee earrings in silver because again, mixed metal gal, don't care what it is. I feel like these give me my real K-pop moment. Can you see it? I can see it. So if you want to grab some jewelry of your own that is cool and sparkly and sustainable, click the link in the description down below. Ana Luisa have also just released their solid gold jewelry range, which I will be diving into at some point in the near future. So be sure to check those out. Click the link in the description down below to find your next beautiful piece and use my code meekela20 to get 20% off your order. Thank you, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring my video once again. But now, let us continue on with the filler episode. Also, hi, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so it's autumn, not spring. I get very confused every year, but it is my favorite season of the year. It's not only the season that I was born, but it also has the best weather, hands down. And so it is not spring like it probably is for many of you up in the northern hemisphere. It's autumn, but I've decided that autumn is the season of finishing series. I'm going to finish so many of the series that I have started because there's a few. And I need to stop starting new ones before I finish old ones, is my hypothesis of the situation. Another caveat is that I have these books and these books for video reasons to read, so watch this space. But I have 11, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books to talk to you about today. Without further ado, let's just jump in because I am rambling. First, Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. I'm finally getting to it. It is released as of me filming this video tomorrow on audiobook. I'm very excited. I've had it pre-ordered for so long. I've had this sitting on my shelf since the day it came out, and I'm just so excited to finally finish off this series. Again, finishing series, it's happening. Cassandra Clare has pioneered the Shadowhunters world. She has created this entire universe. We have characters from many of the different series within the series, so I'm not going to say anything about the plot of this book. However, I will say that the first one, we are following the characters' children from the Infernal Devices series, which is the Clockwork Angel series, these ones. Set in the London Institute, we're following Cordelia Carstairs and James Herondale. They are essentially in this question mark romance friendship thing, but we also have many other side characters that, in my personal opinion, are far more interesting than our main characters. But as I said, that is very far from this plot because this is the 3rd book in the series. This edition of the book also has some really cool fan art in it. I think that this is James, and there's also fan art within the pages. I've just given myself a giant spoiler, so I'm gonna put this down. Next, Jade City by Fonda Lee. I know I said that I would finish the series that I've started before starting a new series. But this has been on my shelf for too damn long and I need to see if it's a series that I want to continue with. So I am listening to the audiobook of this to test whether or not this is a series that I'm going to fully dive into, because I've heard a lot of conflicting reviews. But essentially my understanding of the plot of this one is that Jade is used as a resource to give people superhuman strength and speed. Obviously there is a lot of politics that comes along with that. Again, been on my shelf for a really long time. I think it's time that I figured out whether or not this is something that I want to continue on with, because I've been finding recently that the books that I've had on my shelf for a long time, I have passed the point of actually wanting to continue with those series or actually read the book in general. They've just been there for too long. So I'm slowly but surely working my way through that. Next is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. This is my third Hosseini that I will have read. I have enjoyed his last two books. I picked this one up when I picked up The Kite Runner at a used bookstore, but this is another modern historical fiction following a few generations by the sounds of it in Kabul. It says Mariam is only 15 when she's sent to Kabul to marry Rashid. Nearly 2 decades later, a friendship grows between Mariam and a local teenager, Layla, as strong as the ties bond mother and daughter. I'm listening to this also. I listened to The Kite Runner and bawled my eyes out driving home from work. So I'm hoping that this one moves me as much. A Thousand Splendid Suns. Third and final Hosseini that I have on my shelves. And then I will be buddy reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon with Kirsty. I'm so excited. I know exactly nothing about the plot of this book, and you all know the saga of me trying to get the broken binding special editions of this book. It never happened. They're reselling for like £300, which is like 600 Australian dollars, and I just don't have that to spend on some books that I don't even know if I like. So now is the time to know if I like them or not. Samantha Shannon wrote The Bone Season, which is a series that I read quite recently and have absolutely loved. I really enjoy how Samantha Shannon writes her stories. I have been listening to The Bone Season, so I'm hoping that her writing translates as well into reading it off of 800 pages. The back of the book says, a world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. But I do hear that it is a sapphic romance, so excited. Very here for that. Next, something like 76% of you agreed to watch me read Eclipse in excruciating detail. I have read and overanalyzed Twilight and New Moon to the high heavens, and I plan to continue to do that for the rest of the series. If that is something that you're gonna watch, I will make it. It gives me great pleasure to reread the Twilight series. As much as I pick it apart in terms of all of its problematic matters, I'm very aware of the fact that it is an experience that I rather enjoy. I will be picking up Eclipse to continue on with this video series. If you haven't seen the first two, go check them out. I'll leave them somewhere. I will then be getting to Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, which is the third book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I have actually read the first story to this, and I'm also buddy reading this at the moment as well. I've ranted about this so much recently, but I'll say it again. We're following a cafe in Tokyo in which you can use a certain seat in that cafe to go back in time to visit someone that you love. However, there's many rules and caveats that come along with that, and one of those is that you must return before your coffee gets cold. Otherwise, bad things will happen. You find out what the bad things are in the first one. But as I said, this is the third book, so we're following 4 more stories in the cafe. I will say we go a bit further this time. There's new things. It's very exciting. Also, I read the first one of that series recently with a book club that I had with my work, and none of them liked it. None of them finished it, and I'm so deeply disappointed in all of them. One of them did say that it reads a lot like an anime, and I suspect that that's potentially why none of the other people liked it as much as I did, because I thoroughly enjoy anime and I don't think any of those people do. But speaking of my work book club, that brings me to my next book that I wanted to talk to you about, which is If I Ever Met You by Mary McFarlane. I actually don't know what this is about. I'm reading it because someone else picked it for the book club. It appears to be a fake dating trope to an extent. I'm not sure if it's enemies to lovers, but definitely fake dating. And I do know that we open the book with the main character breaking up with her long-term boyfriend. I think that it's quite intense from what my colleague has said. So yes, this is one of the only, if not the only, contemporary romancy type book that I have on my shelf, and these are usually my palette cleanses between series, so I think that I may need to read more than one of these type of books, but this one's on the list. I have to read this one before April, I believe. Ooh, we're running out of room. Next, I will be reading A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is a sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, again a series that I've spoken about extensively here on this here channel. But Ember in the Ashes is a fantasy, magical, political fiction book. I struggled to pin down the genre of An Ember in the Ashes, but this is the sequel. In the first one we're following Elias and Leia. There is this military academy where people go to learn to be this, obviously the military of the city. The townspeople and the rest of the people don't particularly like the military. They do all these raids and there's a resistance, and so we find these two people on opposing sides of the resistance who have to come together to kind of overcome what's happening in the situation. That is an incredibly vague synopsis, but I honestly, there's so many things that happen in the first book that I cannot pinpoint down into one sentence what the culmination of that book is. It is very good, this series. It's one that I've continued to think about after I finished reading it. I read it in like October last year when I went overseas, and I still think about it to this day. So A Torch Against the Night is actually quite high up on my list of things to get to because I want to continue the series. I was hesitant for a while there. I didn't know if I was going to, but we are. We're finishing the series. It's happening. I do have to find the rest of the books though. Next. If you've been around for any amount of time, you would know that I have been reading the Vampire Academy series for a very long time. The purpose of reading the Vampire Academy series is so that I can finally finish the Bloodline series, which is a series that I never finished when it first came out. The Vampire Academy series is the prerequisite series for the Bloodline series, and so we're starting from the start. We're going the whole way through to finally finish the Bloodline series. So I need to read books 5 and 6. I deeply apologize to everyone in the Booked and Boozy Discord who I initiated reading book 5 and then never actually read book 5 with them. So everyone's read it, I haven't read it, and I remember it not being the best. I do remember liking 6 though, so I'm hoping that we can blast through these two to kick off the next section of this read along because it's taking too long. If you don't know, the Vampire Academy series is a vampire series set in an academy. We follow Rose and Lissa. They are, one's a half vampire, one's a full vampire. There's the good vampires, the bad vampires, the half vampires, and in the Bloodline series we have the humans that have weird vampire blood magic tattoos. It is very young adult fantasy, urban fantasy-esque from that era. There is quite a few content warnings though, so check on those before you jump in because they're there, they exist. Keep your brains safe. I feel like I say that every time. I want your brains to be safe, but we also want to have a good time. I've gone off on a tangent. We're finishing the Vampire Academy series in autumn. It's happening. And finally, another book that I've been reading for far too long was Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I have since finished Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Where did I put it? Here. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Took far too long. This was the January pick for the book club that I have with my work. And I finished it in March. So naturally, we are going to finish the series. I will be picking up Starsight and the third book, Cytonic. I have started this. I am currently reading this. I'm having a good time with this. This is Brandon Sanderson's sci-fi series and it follows our main character, Spencer. She is training to become a pilot to protect the human race from the Krell, which are an alien species that regularly attack them from space. We follow Spencer in all of her shenanigans. She has a huge ego and she has a confidence that is just something that I don't see a lot in female main characters in books. To be honest, I didn't expect to have this much of a good time and I am starting to love sci-fi books more than I realized. And that's kind of it. I think that, and then obviously the other books that I was talking about at the start of the video where I said that I'm going to read them for videos, because that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books to add to this here stack. The reason there's so many and the reason that this is a filler episode is because I am a mood reader and I tend to pick up what I feel like, and usually that isn't what I plan for myself. So if I give myself enough variety within my TBR, I can usually pick and choose from this smaller selected variety without becoming paralyzed with the feeling of overwhelm of how many books I have to choose from because I keep buying books. Have I stuck to my 1 in 1 out policy this year? Absolutely not. We have a book haul coming soon. But that is all the books that I have to talk to you about for my autumn TBR. These books here. This is it for this season. Don't forget to click the link in the description down below if you want to grab something for yourself or someone else from Ana Luisa and use my code meekelareads20 to get 20% off of your order. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring the video today. I very much appreciate it. I love working with you guys. And I also love you for watching this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're having a fantastic day or night or whatever time it is where you are in the world. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.